Because in fact, I was also laid off once in my career, and I reached out to friends in my network, but nothing worked out. So, and if you look at the current situation, layoffs are everywhere. And why do you think this traditional networking collapse during layoffs? And what does connect working do differently?
That's one of the core principles of connect working is connecting with people in a genuine human way. And it's a two-way street. It's give and take. It's genuine interest. It's what can I offer you as opposed to what can you give me?
And introverts unfair advantage. This is something let's talk about. You say introverts can outperform extroverts. And when it comes to relationship building, what behaviors make that true? And how can listeners or audience adapt them today?
And when you're talking to an introvert, you can just feel that they're more invested in the conversation because they're not looking at everybody else and trying to work the room. They're invested in that one conversation. And the introvert makes you feel seen and heard, and that you're not just a means to an end. Like, you know that they're not just in it because they want a job. They truly care about the conversation.
Jen, walk us through a three-step connect working outreach that turns a stranger into a conversation in just 7 days or less.
Okay, step one.
So, folks, you have tuned into TGV and hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, the world's only quadrilingual podcast at this moment of recording. And we are trying to embark into multiple languages as we speak. And here we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. And we want to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. And thank you so much for tuning in. So, folks, welcome back to yet another episode on the Guiding Voice podcast series. And today we are joined by Jen Fort. And before we get into the conversation, let me give you a brief context. If you have opened LinkedIn anytime this year, you have felt it. Tens of thousands laid off in just the first few weeks. And AI is reshaping teams almost overnight. Cold messages flooding every inbox and almost nobody replying. Talking about the old rules of networking, they're not broken, they're gone. And in the middle of this chaos, one idea has exploded onto the global stage, which is stop networking, start connect working. And today we are joined by the women behind that moment, Jen Fort. And trust me, this conversation might change how opportunity finds you. I'm repeating, how opportunity finds you. Just to give you a brief intro about Jen, she's a career transition coach, speaker, and author who created Connect Working, a human first approach to building meaningful professional relationships in a transactional world. And she's the author of Stop Networking, Start Connect Working, and the Wisdom and Warnings series, helping people turn disruption into momentum with a practical, people powered strategy. So, Jen, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. And isn't that a tongue twister? Practical people powered strategy. You did very well.
All right. So, there is so much to learn from you, but tell me about what can the audience expect from our conversation in the next 30-35 minutes.
Well, I will say in your audience, if the person watching this podcast has not been impacted by a job upheaval, a layoff, I would bet that they know somebody that has. It is so prevalent, and you hear the percentage that about 80% of jobs are found through some level of networking. Which I'm not a fan of the word networking. It's always connect working. So I believe it's important now more than ever to sharpen your skills and get just more comfortable with making genuine human connection, whether it's for job search or in your everyday life. It's super important.
Wonderful. So, folks, today we are going to dive into an interesting conversation on the topic at hand, from layoffs to liftoff, building opportunity without begging. But before we get started, here is an exciting twist. As always, let us tickle our guest brain first. So, Jen, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words. Yay! So, here comes my first word: curiosity,
Discovery.
invention,
What happens when people say that's never going to work?
future,
Is wide open.
clarity,
Overrated.
job search,
Oh, emotional roller coaster.
success,
Alignment.
failure,
Research.
career,
A journey.
networking.
Awkward.
Aliens.
Probably watching.
And the last one is connection.
Magic.
Amazing. Loved all your responses. So spot on. And thank you for being so crisp. And also, most importantly, thank you for being part of our journey in shaping the careers and lives of millions across the globe. So, with that, let's cruise into the mainstream conversations wherein you can answer to my questions in about 1 to 2 minutes. And my first
Sure.
question is: who is your guiding voice?
I would say they're guiding voices, and that would be the job seekers that I work with. So as a career transition coach, I work with folks who have recently been displaced, laid off, right sized. I call it unexpectedly departed. When you're blindsided, it just sounds a little better. But I work with thousands of people, at least 200 at a time. And my guiding voice is just hearing from these folks that are on the front line, what they're experiencing, where their frustrations are, what's working, what's not. Because, honestly, there is no better perspective to what's happening on the front line of job search and connection than somebody's who is right now, like in the trenches of the situation. So I keep my ears open and I listen to everyone.
Amazing. Jen, now talk to us about your success mantra, as in top three things that have contributed to your success so far.
I would say curiosity. I love talking to people and just learning a little bit about them, what's worked, what hasn't, what's going on in their lives today. So I am always super curious. I talk to people at the gas pump, at the gas station. So I think curiosity has led me. Failure, because I have a bit of a different take. I believe in any venture, failure is not only going to happen, it's a necessary part of anything new that you're trying. So, as opposed to being afraid that you're going to fail, I almost look forward to it because it's an expected part of the process. I know I'm going to learn from it, may not feel good, but if you embrace failure, I always say be failure friendly. Just expect it and appreciate what your failures can do for you. And the last one is obviously connection. I just love learning people's stories, borrowing their wisdom, and then sharing it because I always say, wisdom not shared is just knowledge. And I think that's a little selfish. So I love to learn from people and then share it.
Amazing. So, we are here to share that wisdom through the guiding voice. That is the whole intent of
Absolutely.
my podcast as well. Amazing. I loved it. And Jen, cold messages are failing. And if you had to rewrite the networking playbook for 2026 in one sentence, what would it say? And what is the first action to take in the next 24 hours?
Oh, well, if I had to sum it up in one sentence, I'd have to say good things happen when people talk. But when you say rewriting the playbook, I actually did. That's what the Stop Networking, Start Connect Working book is all about. It's rewriting that whole script. And as far as what the first actions are in the first 24 hours, I say one, take a breath. You're going to get through this. And then start making a list of everyone you've crossed paths with professionally, personally. They could be colleagues, bosses, mentors. They could be vendors, customers. just make a list and include details about them. How do you know them? Where do they work? What are they interested in? And then prioritize that list. And that's how you're going to start your connect working outreach. You're going to be specific and you're going to use that list as a guide. You're not going to be reactionary. You're going to go at your connection in a strategic way.
And my next question is more about layoffs. Because, in fact, I was also laid off once in my career, and I reached out to friends in my network, but nothing worked out. So, and if you look at the current situation, layoffs are everywhere. And why do you think this traditional networking collapse during layoffs? And what does connect working do differently?
Well, I see this with a lot of my candidates. By the time I talk to them, they're maybe a week into their layoff, and there's been this very quick knee-jerk reaction. They say, "Oh my gosh, I'm laid off. I have to blast out as many emails as possible." It's the same email. "Hey, don't know if you've heard, I got laid off. Here's my resume. Let me know if you know any jobs." And I think so many people are getting so many requests like that, and they're generic and they just fall flat. It just leads to crickets. Like you just said, you didn't hear back. It's because people feel like a vending machine. Like, don't give me your resume and think you're gonna get a job out the bottom. It's noise at this moment. So, um, and I think like with connect working, one thing I call it the Safari strategy when you start connecting, because if you've ever been on Safari, I was lucky enough to go once, and the first rule that they say is when you're approaching an animal, you don't go at them head on, because if you go right to the animal face first head on, it's too aggressive and they're going to get freaked out. They're going to run away. So what they tell you to do is kind of come at them from the side, softer, gentler, and it's less aggressive. So that's one of the core principles of connect working is connecting with people in a genuine human way, and it's a two-way street. It's give and take. It's genuine interest. It's what can I offer you as opposed to what can you give me? So it's just a whole different, more gentle take.
Yeah, got it. All right. So, moving to the next one, like opportunity without desperation. What is a language that signals value, not readiness, when reaching out after a layoff? Can you give a before and after example kind of thing?
Well, I think the one that comes to me right off the bat is from a language perspective. It's the difference between saying, "Hey, please help me," to what can I offer you? And can we talk about what might be possible? So it's a more of a two-way conversation. And, I always tell my candidates curiosity is the best way to grow a conversation. Desperation is a sure way to slam the door. So be curious and have that two-way conversation.
Got it? Humans are always greater than algorithms. We have to trust it because algorithms have come into picture very recently, right? And in a world
Yes.
of AI written DMs, what are the three
Mhm.
human signals that instantly separate a real message from a mass blast?
Well, okay. So number one, be specific. Do your research before you reach out. Just refresh yourself on who that person is. Do your research and be specific about something about them. Here's a before and after. Don't just say, "Hey, I saw your post." I read your post about career reinvention after 50. What's really struck me was not climbing the corporate ladder, but moving more into a mentorship. That really resonated with me. I'd love to talk about that. So it's letting the person know you've seen them, you know what they're about. You didn't just see their picture on LinkedIn and hit, I want to connect. Is be specific. And again, that curiosity word keeps coming back. I appreciated your perspective on X. It was truly unique. And I'm curious, what made you focus on that area? So it's asking them questions because, I mean, let's be honest, people love to talk about themselves. So make it about them. And I think the last thing is just warmth. Using language that you're going to use. Um, and if you do use AI to help craft, I know not everybody's a wordsmith. I get it. Absolutely. Have AI help you write things, but have it use your ideas. Um, and then speak it out loud. Like, talk it out loud in front of a mirror, in front of a camera to yourself and feel it. Like, does that sound like something I would really say genuinely? Because the last thing you want is you send an email with words you've never used. You finally get the person on the phone to have a conversation, and they're like, wait a minute, these are two different people. So make sure that it sounds like you because AI can write your messages, absolutely, but only humans can create the conversations.
Love it. I loved the example. Amazing. And introverts unfair advantage. This is something let's talk about. You say introverts can
Yeah.
outperform extroverts. And when it comes to
Mhm.
relationship building, what behaviors make that true? And how can listeners or our audience adapt them today?
Well, you're spot on because I have a whole chapter in the Stop Networking, Start Connect Working book on introverts because I feel and I've experienced it that I introverts make great connect workers because they go deeper. They listen more than they talk. And when you're talking to an introvert, you can just feel that they're more invested in the conversation because they're not looking at everybody else and trying to work the room. They're invested in that one conversation. And the introvert makes you feel seen and heard, and that you're not just a means to an end. Like, you know that they're not just in it because they want a job. They truly care about the conversation. They also think before they respond. They don't just blast off a pre-written answer out of, it's less knee jerk. It's more intentional. And you just feel like there's more substance to the conversation. And it's more quality over quantity when it comes to introverts. And I mean, you want to feel special. And introverts tend to make you feel special when you talk to them.
That's a great perspective. Yeah, I think that's a wonderful observation, and thank you for bringing that out. And Jen, what should people stop doing on LinkedIn this week, and what should they start doing instead to create momentum fast?
Oh my gosh, please just stop hitting like. I liked your post. Oh my gosh, people, I see so many people, they're like, "Well, I went in and I've been liking people's posts and writing, hey, nice comment, congratulations." I'm like, "Let's go quantity or let's go quality over quantity and engage with intention." Sure, you can like someone's comment, someone's post, but then think about, is this somebody you really want to engage with? Or is it just means to an end? And if it's somebody you really want to engage with, like, get personal, get intentional. Sure, like their post, but then also if you're going to comment on something, comment with intention, add to the conversation, or maybe even lightly challenge a perspective and start a different conversation. And I believe the AI or the LinkedIn algorithm, the last time I read up on it, it gives more weight to comments that are more than 12 or so words. So if you're just going in and saying, like, congratulations, like, good job, like, good article, it's not going to help you. So think about, is this somebody I really want to connect with? Do I have something to say? And let me add to the conversation. And if you do use AI, again, don't just simply copy and paste. Read it out loud to yourself. And is it something that you would say to a friend?
Yeah, got it. Jen, walk us through a three-step connect working outreach that turns a stranger into a conversation in just 7 days or less.
Okay, step one, notice something that's real about them, something you're interested in. How could you add to the conversation? So that notice something is the first thing. Then number two, approach with curiosity, ask questions, make it about them. And then step 3, like, invite a conversation, and I always tell people to be easy to do business with. Don't make it hard for someone to connect with you, to have a conversation. You know, here are a few dates and times. Let's have a quick 10-minute chat. You giving them dates and times, you're not playing back and forth, and it just makes it really easy and a slam dunk that, you know what, I can spare 10. That guy had a really interesting perspective. I could spare 10 minutes on, he's available Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I could do Thursday at 10 a.m. 10 minutes, would love to. So it just be easy to do business with. And when we say like a 3-minute challenge, I actually have a 30-day connect working challenge as part of the Stop Networking, Start Connect Working book. It is on my website, imjenfort.com/resources. And it's a 30-day, super easy challenge, would only take you a couple minutes a day, just kind of ease you into that genuine human connection.
Got it. So, folks who is tuned into the episode, you will find link to Jen Ford's LinkedIn profile as well as her website. Do check it out. And Jen, moving forward, how do you use AI to scale thoughtful connection without losing your voice? And what's your prompt and or a checklist before you hit that send button?
Right. So I AI, everybody's using AI. I get it. One kind of my step is I always say when you're using AI, just make sure you give it a persona first. Don't just go in there and say, write me a cover letter, write me this. Tell it who you want it to be. Say, you are a LinkedIn engagement expert, something like that. And at least it puts it in a frame of mind. And then here's my thoughts. Because AI is going to help you draft it faster, but it doesn't include that human component. So you need to make sure it's there. And I say before you send any message, whether it's an email, a DM, even a text message to someone you don't know or you don't know well, I always say, did you include specifics? Is the message about me or is it about them? Did I invite a conversation? And did I offer to help them in some way? So you just kind of want to make sure that it's not all about me, 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 me. You want to make sure that message is about them as well.
Yeah, got it. Tell us what is a low friction ask that has a high acceptance rate and why does it work?
So especially when you're talking to people that have if you're engaging with them on LinkedIn and they posted something, an article or something, ask an easy question that relates to that point of view, or their accomplishments. If they say, "Hey, I just have made this great accomplishment," and everyone's congratulating them. Again, people love to talk about themselves. So you could say, "I congratulations on the new promotion, da da da. I would love to hear from you, like, what was the one thing that helped you get that promotion?" Or, you've been in the net so they say, "Hey, I just hit my 30-year anniversary at this company." You could say, "Wow, that you must have seen a lot. I would love to hear and understand maybe what are some of the biggest changes you've seen in the industry over the years, and what's the biggest challenge going forward?" So, it's just asking them questions about something they're interested in or an expert at. I think that's a low friction way of starting that connection.
Got it. What are the cues that a great chat is ready to graduate into a referral, intro, or collaboration? And how do you ask without being awkward?
So, I think one of the big tells is when you're having a conversation with someone and the Q&A, the questions, the curiosity starts going both ways, as opposed to you just asking the other person about their perspectives and whatnot. When the other person starts asking you questions, what do you think? Or, you know, I bet you would enjoy meeting so and so. Or, I have you ever considered this association or this group to connect with? Because once there's that back and forth and the other person's offering ideas or asking you questions, that energy it shifts from a polite conversation to more of an engaging conversation. And that's where if they don't say, "Hey, I think, it would be great for you to meet so and so," you could ask them, is there anyone else that you know that has a unique perspective on this topic? Or is there someone that you know that, I that you would encourage me to meet in this different industry? So that's kind of those low cost shifts that you can take advantage of.
Hmm. Hmm. Got it. And the next one is like, what's your day one routine for someone who was just laid off to restore agency and rebuild a pipeline of people as well as possibilities?
Okay, number one, just breathe. It usually takes a couple of days to come down off of the shock. Even if you knew that it was coming, it's still an adjustment. So I know this is probably gonna be one of the most hard things to do, but don't take it personally because businesses are in business to do business, and layoffs are part of that, and you don't have to agree with the decision. It could be the most illogical decision ever in your perspective, but it's done. You're out. There's not much you can do about it at this point. But I say, like, first take a day or two to, like, really feel the feelings. I always say the feelings fully felt fade. So if you just, like, feel the feeling and push it away, it's gonna keep resurfacing. So get in your feelings and adopt it. Just kind of, "Okay, this has happened. Let me breathe," then move on. Okay. So that business decision was not a personal attack. It was a business decision. Okay. And I use that as my mantra after I got unexpectedly departed. This is a business decision. It's not personal. Took me a long time to believe it, but I kept saying it. And then I think we mentioned earlier about making that list of people and commit yourself to having 3 conversations that week and just start off slow. If you need just one conversation, do that. But I will say, you might need a bit more time if you're kind of going over that conversation and you don't feel like you can talk about the departure in a neutral way. If you're still really anxious or triggered or angry, you don't want to bring that energy into this new conversation. So you might have to, just kind of sit in those feelings a little bit more and kind of let them simmer because you want the conversations to be kind of neutral and hopeful, not that desperation that we talked about in the beginning of the conversation. You just want to just make sure you wait at least a couple of days to make sure that you can talk about it, without getting really triggered.
Amazing. I loved all your insights so far. And Jen, it's time for us to add some more spice and some more excitement to the episode, which means it brings us to the second rapid fire round.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right. So here comes the first bullet, and I'm super thrilled to see your energy. So, if you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
It would say, good things happen when people talk. Hashtag connect working.
Wow. Love it. Can you describe yourself in just one word?
Punny. I love a good pun.
Okay, one liner that beats any elevator pitch.
Oh, I'm having curious conversations with brilliant minds. I'd love to chat.
Love it. Love it. Most cringy opener you still see on LinkedIn.
Oh, I'm currently seeking new opportunities. Please see my attached resume. Oof. No, 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 no. We don't want that. There's no context, no genuine connection. You're using that person like a vending machine. Oh my gosh. So no, 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 no.
All right. So tell us about an introvert power move at a crowded event.
Ooh. Ooh, they can be so tough for introverts. So here's my strategy. Get there early. Establish yourself before the crowd has gotten too big and commit yourself to 2 conversations. Don't challenge yourself to talk to a lot of people. Just challenge 2 conversations because that's gonna protect your energy because you try to do too much, it's gonna get overwhelming and it's not gonna be a good thing. So just 2. I also say, if you're sharing your LinkedIn QR code, I always tell people, like, immediately, as soon as you're done that conversation and the person walks away, you've shared QR codes and you've connected on LinkedIn, send yourself a text message with a few notes just about the conversation, something specific about what they said, where they're from, one thing about this. So when you do your follow through, which I used to say follow through, not follow up, when you follow through with them, again, you can be specific about something in the conversation.
Wow. Simply superb. Okay. Mention one word that ruins a great outreach.
Oh, all right. I'm going to hyphenate it because it's 3 words. Pick your brain. I don't want anybody picking my brain. I want to have a conversation. If
Okay. AI tool you would keep if you could only keep one.
I could only keep one, I would have to. I know. I'd have to say ChatGPT because I've got so much context and research in there, and I probably have at least 20 projects in there right now. And my strategist, Brad lives in ChatGPT right now, and I've curated him pretty well. He knows me and what I'm up to. So I'm not going to abandon Brad anytime soon.
Okay, got it. What is the most underrated follow up line ever?
You know, I've got some time on my hands right now. Is there anything I can do to be useful to you?
Wow, awesome.
Brilliant.
Okay, and the next is the best thank you that isn't the words thank you.
Well, and I will say this to you because it is a heartfelt thank you. I am really glad that our paths crossed. This has been a fantastic conversation, and I really got a lot of energy from our conversation today. And that is truly heartfelt for you.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. And next one is your one connect working non negotiable.
Oh, make it genuine, make it personal.
Awesome. And Jen, here comes the last one for the second rapid fire. What is one electronic gadget or a fantasy gadget that you like to see or invent yourself?
I would love to invent, for lack of a better thing, like a conversation radar device, something that you wear, something on your wrist device that lights up when there's someone around you that if you talk to them, it's going to be a life-changing conversation. Every conversation is great, but there are certain conversations that are life-changing. And I never want someone to avoid one of those conversations because honestly, one conversation, the right conversation can change absolutely everything.
I love it. Amazing. So, with that, let's flip back to the mainstream. And Jen, give our audience a 7-day connect working challenge that could realistically change their results by next week.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to give you two because I just overdo everything. Number one, practice connecting with the one person challenge. Every day, meet one person, learn their name, and learn something about them, and then share it on your socials with hashtag connectworking. It could be the guy at the gas pump. Hey, I love your car. I've been looking at that. I've been looking at a Ford Bronco for a long time. Do you like yours? Oh my gosh, you've met him? And then when you say, thanks for that information. What was your name? Boom, you've done it. Do that for 7 days. It just makes starting connections so easy. I've been doing it forever. I love meeting new people. Um, and then the second one, I've already created the 30-day connect working challenge. And again, it's on my website and it's 30 days of easy conversation starters or actions that you can take. So it's out there, it's for download, no cost. It's just my gift to you to help you start connect working.
Amazing. Superb. I loved every bit of our conversation. And again, there's a lot to learn from you. So, Jen, thank you so much for being part of our journey. And thank you for joining. And also, I wish you all the best in everything that you do. But before you go away, tell me about how was your experience being hosted on the Guiding Voice podcast.
Oh, this was fantastic. I love what you're doing because sharing wisdom and sharing perspectives, it's so important because there's so much to learn. You can't learn it all yourself. So let's borrow wisdom from other people. And I just love that you're bringing guests on who have different perspectives and sharing. I thank you so much. I'm so glad our paths crossed. That was very genuine thank you.
Pleasure to have you. And thank you once again. Looking forward to hosting you again in near future. And I wish your book becomes a bestseller. And see you again on the show.
Well, thank you.
So, all right. So, friends, that was our episode with Jen Fort. Before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. If you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, request you to share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues or family members, whoever you think are going to like the guiding voice. So, spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. And also, if you're listening to this episode on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and if you're not following us already, do hit the follow button and request you to leave a rating or review so that we can amplify our reach and the wisdom can be benefited by most of the people from as many people as possible from across the globe. All right. So thank you so much in advance. And it's time for us to cruise into the trivia segment. So today we had amazing conversation about stop networking, but start connect working. Right. So I thought of presenting you few facts related to job search, referrals, and so on. So, first and foremost, across multiple data sets, referred candidates advance faster and get hired at far higher rates than job board applicants. And some analysis show referrals are 4 times more likely to be hired and can represent a disproportionate share of total hires. Second fact is that job boards flood pipelines, but company pages and referrals convert better. And in one 2025 analysis of 60,000 plus businesses, referrals were only 2% of applicants, but 11% of hire. 11% of hires, which is a 10 times edge or 10x edge.
Wow.
And next fact is that benchmark show typical reply rates for cold email over near around just 5%. While well executed LinkedIn DMs average around 10%, and multi channel and value led messages always perform best. Next is data from large outreach analysis shows that thoughtful personalization materially lifts acceptance and reply rates on LinkedIn and email. AI can help scale it if you edit back to your voice. I think this point was mentioned by Jen as well. And last fact is that multiple reports tracked tens of thousands of layoffs in the first week of this year, with many companies explicitly linking restructuring to AI investments. Though analysts note many cuts still come from broader cost controls and overhiring corrections, don't panic. Just start connect working your way to your next opportunity. All right. So that's it for today. But before you go away, here is my question. Were you ever laid off? If so, how did you get rehired?
Oh,
What kind of strategies have you used? Do let me know. If you are watching this episode on YouTube, you can comment there, or if you found it on audio platforms like Spotify, you can comment there as well, or you can reach out to us on social media.
mhm.
So, folks, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. So, until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember, the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.